So here's the $1,000,000 question. How do we come up with our own muscle confusion, or how do we come up with our own hook or differentiation?
Now, this is a really important episode. If you're in business, if you're even thinking about getting into business, one of the most key things is how do you separate yourself from your competition? How do you attract in the right type of clients? And that's why I'm really excited to be sharing this episode with Jay Ferruggia today that is going to showcase exactly how you're going to be able to use words and messaging to make that happen. I'm Chris Dufay and you're watching Breaking Success. This is the show, this is the movement that is giving you the backstage pass for you to build the body, business and life that you love. In this episode, Jay Ferruggia and I go into why is using the power of using the right words so powerful and needed for your business? How Joey has become a leading fitness copywriter, what the major steps are for you today to best craft what it is that separates you from your competitors and bringing in new clients. Now, also as a heads up, Joey and I are going to be doing another episode really soon. So watch this episode right to the end and then make sure that you comment below or join us in the free group so that you can ask the questions for Joey and I to answer for you.
Especially when it comes to copywriting, this has always been something that I know is so important. Not always, but something I've recently like, holy shit, I really need to get good at it. And it was actually funny, I don't have it here. I think it's in the other room. Before I came on this trip, I printed off like a big bundle of like really like, it was like Gary Bencivenga and like Gary Halbert and all the stuff to it. So I could sit there and hand copy and write because I say that's one of the best ways to do it. But yeah, before we start diving into all this stuff, Joey, I just want to say a huge thank you for taking time out and being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm pumped to be here.
Before we dive into this stuff, I never like doing too much of an intro of the guests coming in because I know I'm probably always going to botch it and do a shit job anyway. So who's Joey and why are you so phenomenal?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm a fitness dude turned like copywriter and marketer. So I was in fitness for like 10 years, like training. And then before that, obviously a part of it for my entire life, just in some way or another. Went to school, got my master's degree in exercise science, all the other stuff that went along with it was in like the research side, then training people, athletes, general pop, all that good stuff. And then somehow found my way into marketing and copywriting because I was sick of like not making money doing it. And yeah, that's actually like what my book is about. We were talking about it before, but we'll get to that later. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
No, this is really important. I love this because I feel like we've both kind of like been on these same paths where you're super into fitness, like you want to help people, you've got so much to be able to give, but there's this nagging thing behind stopping you from selling, making money, do you know what I mean? And being able to build a business. And I think that's why we kind of like, it's why I got into and enjoying the actual business aspect is because, okay, for me to be able to actually share my passion for health and fitness and help people, that means I actually need to be able to sell them into what I'm able to give them at the end of the day. What clicked for you when it came about like, okay, I need to learn business, copywriting and all these things?
Okay. Well, like I said, one was just like, it's just like struggling with money. I was living in New York City, for like, I moved out last year. Before that, I was there for like 3 years and New York City is a grind. Like yeah. you have to go and just looking around, just knowing like how much money was everywhere, just between, the clients that I was training, like you were training with me, it was $165, like an hour for a session. Like that was it. And like to some people that's a lot, to some people that's nothing, that's pennies. But it was weird. Like at the beginning, it was weird for me to like get over that feeling of being like, this is what it is. Yeah. And it was also because I didn't understand the value. I didn't understand like the marketing on the side of it. I didn't understand like the selling process. It was like, it was weird for me to like an hour of my time is this. Yes. Whereas I wasn't looking at the value that they're getting and like what I can give them. They're like more than willing to pay that plus more and more and more. So I got into it from, just struggling. Like I was trying to build my online business because I was so sick of doing 10, 12-hour days. So it was like waking up in the morning, learning copywriting, 10, 12-hour days, whatever it was, sometimes less, in between clients, doing this stuff at night, doing this stuff. And then like, that was my life for a while.
That's so funny. I totally had the exact same thing. Do you know who Craig Ballantyne is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said to Craig face to face, actually, when I was here in LA, it was like 6 or 7 weeks ago.
You went to his Perfect Life formula workshop?
No, I didn't. We just had lunch together. I was in Austin, and then he was like, I'm going to be in LA. And I was like, I'll be to LA. Yeah. So I came here, had lunch with him and Jay Ferruggia. And I said to him, I go, Craig, I want to say a huge thanks, because it was reading your stuff that got me to go from, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. as a personal trainer, to then doing the waking up at 4:30, working for about an hour before trying to go to clients, and then building up the online gig. Yeah. And it's really funny that you say
so, that. John Romanello, who's one of my good friends now, he actually like introduced me to copy and marketing, which if you talk to John, one of his first mentors was Craig.
Right. So, oh my God. How small is this world?
It's funny.
Because I've been reading John's stuff for a long time. Like I remember reading Engineering the Alpha like years ago when it came out. And you know, one thing, and I would love to actually say this to John as well. So I've got to get him on the show and say this, because Engineering the Alpha is a perfect structured copywriting book, as in like it's written so well to then sell the idea and sell the concept and move that person into what's needed to. I absolutely loved it. I used it for a long time, being able to, as like a swipe file to go to when I was writing copy for guys, was going actually to Engineering.
Yeah, it's great.
And like, oh my God, this is so good. And then being able to take it on from there. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Okay. Learning copywriting. How did you go about it?
So I went about it a different way than I would say, like tell most fitness, owners to go through, or whatever fitness entrepreneurs, because I went into it from the aspect of like, this is actually, well, at the beginning I went just learning about it. And then from there I went into it like, this is what I want to do. It wasn't like, I just want to learn this stuff to improve my business.
Yeah.
So I went at it from handwriting, like famous sales letters, reading most things I can get my hands on, like watching those videos over and over, reading over and over, like just writing and practicing. So that's a little bit different than what I tell most people to do, because like that's learning the skill and like being able to apply it to different businesses, as opposed to just like getting really good, narrow down your business and being really good at what you do.
Yes, totally. I'll just highlight that point, because that's actually something really good. So actually, like a part of my inner circle mastermind, I actually pay a copywriter to write one piece of copy for a person per month. And just so that the person listening understands, is if you're going to learn copywriting to write copy for yourself, you need to know, how do you separate yourself from your competitors? How do you, convey that message? That if you're going to become a copywriter, you need to learn how to learn somebody else's business to then convey that message to write on all different markets and moving forward. That I truly like. You are God for being able to do that, because that's tough. Like that's really hard. Like how does your mind kind of go into somebody else's business and then learn what needs to happen to then convey a message to sell?
It's definitely hard. So like I haven't, like I've worked in a decent amount of different industries. I haven't gone like everywhere, because it's really hard. Like you have to spend a lot of time learning what's going on. So what I do, like with any of my clients, the first thing we do is one, like they send any information, products they have. Like if we're working on a product, whatever it is, they send me anything. I go through all of it, read it, like absorb it. And then we get on a call and do like an interview. I ask them a ton of questions, basically like, a sales process, and asking them tons of questions. I'm asking the same thing over in different ways and seeing what different answers I get. We're looking at what their customers are saying, whether they're already buyers. So like, why did they buy? What was holding them back from buying? What put them over the edge and didn't make them buy? Just figuring out, like pulling anything we can out. And what a lot of people do is a lot of people skip that, but it's funny because like that actually writes most of your copy. Like you just pick those things out and that's your copy. Like I call it mind reading. It's when someone's reading, like if you do it well, someone will read it and they're like, oh wow, he knows like exactly what's going on in my mind right now.
That's a brilliant point, because if you understand what the market's saying, if you understand what the objections are, you can write copy that talks to those objections. So as they're reading it, they're having objections coming up, and you're able to answer them. So you've got that mind reading.
Yeah, like in your writing before they even come up. So a lot of people try to avoid that stuff. They're like, I just won't talk about it. Whereas like, no, you want to talk about it. So like they don't have it. No matter what, someone's going to have an objection of some sort. It can be the greatest thing in the world and like the most unbelievable product that every single one of their friends has done. But then they're going to be like, well, maybe it's too good to be true.
Can we talk to that? Because I was actually going to ask you a question. I just had a question pop up in my head, and that was something I recommend to my client, and obviously I'm trying to do at the moment as well, is to always make a damaging admission in the copy as well, because not everything's perfect. And I think especially in the health and fitness space, and Joey, seriously, like shoot this shit down if it's no good, if I'm wrong as well. But when it comes to like writing copy, should we be making like a damaging admission? Do you mean, should we be saying this isn't for everybody and this is why, or how do we go along that process? If it's, especially because I'm finding over and over, talking to so many trainers right now, that they are trying to promise the world. They have like all the answers, and it's like, well, hang on, for instance, an example would say like P90X. What I love about the angle that P90X was, it was like, this is going to be the hardest fucking workout that you're ever going to have, but it's going to be worthwhile. Do you know what I mean? There was
and
like,
short, and yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So how do we go about that?
Well, I do actually want to come back to P90X, but we'll touch on that after.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yes, I do think you need to make polarizing statements to say like, this is for this person, this is not for this person. If you try to appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one. That's one. But two, if you promise the world, you might get someone to buy, but if it's not for them, they're going to return it anyway. And then that's even worse than them not buying in the first place, because then they're going to feel like they got screwed, they got gypped, like all of that stuff. Yeah. Plus, like doing refunds, no one likes doing that. It makes you feel. So you definitely want to do that, because it creates like, and you can do it in different ways. You can do it like making this is not for people that like don't want to do any work and think you can sit on your ass and be lazy. You can do it that way too. So it's like you're still making they're like, oh no, of course I know that's not going to work. Of course I know I have to do something. But I think that's very important to be like, this is who it's for, this is who it's not for. And how you do that, you can do it tons of different ways, but I think that's super important to do.
That's awesome. Okay. That's really good. P90X, tell me more.
Yeah. So it's funny because this comes up a lot. And at the beginning, like when I was like, muscle confusion, this is so stupid. And like, I hated it too. But that's like a very important marketing thing. Like it's all it is. It's they have trademarked a term that goes along with their product. And that is, it's a new opportunity that, now the prospect or the potential client, like they can look at this thing and go, okay, I've tried everything before, but now this muscle confusion thing, this is new. This, I might be able to get results with this. And they're not doing anything wrong. Like it works, obviously. Like it works really fucking well. But because muscle confusion isn't a scientific word, people get annoyed about it. But it's like, it's a thing. They're periodizing workouts. Like they're doing it. Like they're varying intensities. They're doing all that stuff. It's actually science and it actually works. But people are pissed off because they did not come up with it. They did not do this thing. Yes. But now, anytime someone says muscle confusion, that is directly tied to that thing. And if you can create that in your business some sort of way, like you win. Because if it's good and it works, like Ramit Sethi, which some people might know, like he has something called the briefcase technique. And it's just like the way they sandwich like this idea with this, like, actually no, his briefcase technique is like in interviews, it's like, oh, here's this thing. And like, I presented stuff to you. So it's just like a way of saying something. And then now everyone ties it to that. So like, that's a huge selling point, because to them, that's something new. It's different. And it's not just like, it's not the same old thing that they've tried before and it didn't work.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's funny because like so many people hate it, but I'm like, it's great. And they're doing
it works. And they crushed it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's funny. I actually started. So when I started in fitness, that was like one of the first things I did. I mean, when I started lifting weights, I think like martial arts and boxing, all stuff. But after boxing, I got injured. I broke both my wrists in a motorcycle accident. I was like, okay, I want to start lifting weights, but I have like no idea where to start. And I started doing back and biceps P90X. And like, that's what I did for like the first month. And then I started doing, I found like Ross Ennemett, who's like an awesome boxing trainer, like found into that and then doing a bunch of other shit. But like, it's funny because like, that's how I started.
Okay. So here's the $1 million question. How do we come up with our own muscle confusion, or how do we come up with our own hook or differentiation?
Yeah. So that's, I'm glad you pointed out, that's a hook. That is like a big overarching theme of whatever it is you're selling, whether it's a product or service that makes you different in some sort of way.
Yep.
I think you come at it like a couple of different ways. One is just being creative, but two, it's like knowing whatever it is that you have, your product or service, looking at like what it does. So for most traders, you want to have a core set of like values and things that you speak about. It's kind of like, this is what I stand for. This is what I do in my training, whether it's like, I'm like with powerlifting and we do this, like power building is another great one that like, people use.
Yep.
And it's like the first person that does that, like that's who gets coined with the name.
Yeah.
And all that is what it's powerlifting and bodybuilding together. Like it's that's a perfect example. Like, okay, my training is powerlifting, but I also do bodybuilding work. Power building, like that's all it is. It's literally like looking at these two words and like finding a play on these words that it can make work, and it sounds cool and like might catch on.
Yeah, like
that's all it is. It's like kind of finding your like core set of values or principles that you speak, that your product does, that makes it different, and then going from there.
Interesting. I'll throw this out there. With the book that's coming out, the first 14 days of it, it's what I've just called a metabolic prime. So you're priming your metabolism to be able to burn fat. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the kind of hook? Is that something we're kind of talking about when it comes to this?
Yeah. I think, has that been used?
Oh, fuck, I hope not.
I don't know. But no, that's it. It's like, it's a different, or no, what is, people call like insulin reset and like stuff like that.
Yes. Well, the whole concept I took from like Johnny Bowden's like 14-day boot camp. It's what I've been using with clients and myself. Do you know what I mean? For ages. But I kind of had that. I was like, I need to call it something, and I didn't want to call it boot camp because I'm trying to talk to the more of a general population. And boot camp, I didn't think was good terminology and language to use. So I'm kind of like, all right, metabolic prime. Do you know what I mean? We're priming the metabolism to burn fat. Yep. Interesting. Okay. When it comes to a personal trainer, coach, fitness entrepreneur listening to us right now, because you spoke to at the beginning, obviously how you learned copywriting, which I thought was great because you wanted to become a copywriter. When it becomes for a fitness entrepreneur, what are the steps that they should be doing to hone their craft when it comes to copywriting?
So I think one is getting a book, course, whatever on it and understanding what goes into it. That's number one, because you have to understand like the principles, what's going on. And then from there, it's digging into your business and learning from there. So going in and finding how your customer feels, how they talk, where they hang out, and what's going on. Easy ways to do that are if you have someone in the industry who's like very similar to what you want to do or the business you want to like build, you can go like just see what's going on with their lives. Like, what are they talking about? What are people commenting on and like asking questions about and replying? So if like, it's not copying their stuff, don't copy their stuff, but you are looking at their audience.
Market research.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I call mind reading. Yep. It's market research. It's figuring out like what they're saying, what they're doing, what questions do they have? What are the barriers that, they've tried to break down, but haven't been able to, like all of that stuff. And that's all it is. It's market research. It's learning what your like either potential clients are now. And you can do that from going into, if you have customers, ask them a bunch of stuff, like do interviews with them. Why did they buy from you? How did they feel? Like I said, what was holding them back? Why did they pick you versus this other person? Yep. And right, you kind of develop, you find your own way and develop your own voice. And like, that's the thing. Everyone thinks they're going to start with this voice and like end with this voice.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It changes a lot. And like, it changes like how you develop as a coach and a person, what's going on in your life. Like it changes a lot.
Yep. Totally.
yeah, and like what interests you, and like I don't know how some people do like the same shit over and over again. I would go crazy.
I get bored. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's funny because I feel like I'm actually going through an evolution with everything that I'm doing. So I'm finding like when I write like a social media post or want to shoot a video or something like that, it's naturally coming out different. I'm like, this isn't the same shit that I was talking to before, but let it come out, and my voice definitely is changing. I think that's a really good part. Okay, market research, that's phenomenal. And I highly suggest that because that's actually what we do with the clients as well going through, because I feel like you've got to understand what's happening in the market to then also try and find a gap or understand where do you fit in this whole health and fitness world of where you want to go.
Yep.
How do you help people separate themselves from the competition then?
So one would be, like we talked about, kind of having like a little hook, whether that's, trademark names, whatever, which don't actually have to be like trademarked. It's just like stuff you call them. That and like showing personality in what you do. Yeah. So like if you look at most of the people who like are crushing it, and let's not look on Instagram. Let's look in like big
Thank you for saying that.
Because like for the most part, the followers don't relate to dollars. A lot of people just don't have the back. I mean, even it's hard to even tell, man. Like just with social media in general, some people like you think they have a gigantic business, but they really don't. There's like no back end. They're not really doing much. So it's hard to say, but.
Can we just take a side tangent?
Yeah.
I love that you said that, Joey. And I think that's something I've been jumping up and down about that for a little while now, but I think it's really good doing somebody of your caliber saying something like that, because I also find it very funny. Like at the moment, like being here in Venice, I'm training at Gold every day. Like I'm literally going to go train there after this. There's a lot of people with big social media followings, you know what I mean? And there really is a difference between likes and followers and like dollars in the bank successfulness of a business as well. How do you help people? Because this is what I also find is so many trainers get caught up wanting to, let's say, copy or funnel hack or whatever it is, a successful, do you know what I mean, big following Instagram person, but where really they're using the wrong tactics or they're really doing something that doesn't work anyway. How do you help a trainer kind of like swing around and actually understand what it is that they do need to do?
So like, I don't know, like from Instagram, it's weird. It's like a weird world. Like, I don't even understand it a lot. Like it's image based. It's, I feel like most of the, like, there's not, I guess, too much, like building a business there is very different than building a business, like from a blog, from, having a funnel of some sort, like web page based and actually that it's very different. Like there's like the following there and the followers, they're just like, let's just build an audience. And then from there, you still have to find a way to funnel them somewhere or get them somewhere by now they have the ability of doing that through the story and through video and swipe up and it brings it to this link. So I mean, some people, it's kind of like what you want. Some people want to be an influencer. Yeah. Like they want a gigantic following. They might not care about the business, but they might just want 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people following them, and like promote shit and get some money. I don't mean shit. I mean,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like, they might just like that might be cool to them. Like there's like, it's like, I want to have a cool life and like hang out and like do cool shit and promote some shit every once in a while. Like that might be what they want. Yeah. But if you want a business of building, like that doesn't help a lot of people.
Yep.
So I know a lot of trainers will say they get into it because they want to help people, which of course, most of us, we do want to do that. And that's great. But it's like finding out like why you really want to help people and what goes into that. And like, why did you get into it and how did it change your life? And when you start talking about those things, and that's like, you bring personality into it and you bring, like a lot of people talk about authenticity and like, being unique and being ethical, but very few people actually, I believe very few people actually do it. Because it's weird. Like being vulnerable is weird. Like saying stuff like that is weird. And it's like opening, like, here's me and like, take it if you want it. But like, because you open yourself to a lot of criticism and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I think if you can find that and you can bring that out like into your brand somehow, like you win in most cases.
Okay, I love that you said that. I think that is absolute gold. I definitely do not want the listener to kind of like let that go over the top of their heads, because if you can be authentic and real and have the right messaging and then talks to your market with that, you win. Because I also feel like in this current world where everyone's being so fake and it's do you know what I mean? It's here's my abs 24/7. And when you actually know those people behind the scenes, it's nothing like that whatsoever. There's a big discrepancy of how people actually connect and create relationships on these social media platforms, through websites, through videos, copy, like blogs, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, it's weird. It's a weird world, that thing.
No, it's cool. I'm so happy you said that. That's really good. Okay, I took us off a massive tangent right there. Let's bring this back into a nutshell then. What do you feel like a trainer needs to do from listening to us from today, other than getting ready to buy your book very soon, because I highly suggest that? But what do you think the steps are somebody should start to take to understand how to create great copy and how to sell better?
Cool. One, just follow my shit. So not even pay stuff, just follow. Like I talk about this stuff a lot. Yep. Two would be taking a really good look at your business and what you want to do in the future, and like how you want to be perceived, how you want to actually help people, and figuring out ways to do that. So instead of just putting out like tons of different content, like doing all this thing, like different things, I think you need to like, okay, this is how I'm going to help people. This is what I believe. Like, these are my core values. We do this, we do this. We don't do this, we don't do this. So like, don't talk about that stuff. Do like these few things very, very good. And then people will start telling other people about it, and people will like, that's what you'll get known for. And I think just figuring that out and doing that, and again, it will probably change within like years or months, but trying to like, okay, this is what I'm going to do now. And just like doing that and digging in deep. I think that's really important.
Perfect. That is absolutely brilliant. Now, where does the listener go to get more of your shit?
Well, I post a lot of my shit on Facebook. So you can go to Facebook. I also have like some done for you templates as far as like headlines, story ideas, email ideas. So you never run out of that stuff. That you can also just like go to my Facebook, or you can get, it's joeypercia.com/templates. And
awesome.
Then, you can just download that for free.
Awesome. I'll make it super simple. I'll add the link below so the viewer right now can just get those right now.
Sweet.
Joey, I'm pumped up. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of everything that we can dive into right now. So I really want to get you back on before the book goes live. I want to dive in deeper into this stuff. I'm so happy that we've connected, and I'm really looking forward to everything to come.
Yeah, man, it's been great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Now, this is where I want to make sure that you get the most out of being here, and I want to hear from you. So if you've enjoyed this episode, click like, and make sure I can send you the new episodes each and every week. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, I really want to make sure that I'm giving you exactly what you need. So comment below. I want to know what you're going to take away from this episode. And the best conversations after every episode always happen in the Breaking Success Tribe. I'll pop a link below for you to join the free group so you get access to the guides, the live streams. I'm in there answering your questions personally each and every day, plus you get all the episodes as well. So thank you so much for being here and joining us. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.